Right then, that's a Honda Civic Type R. I'm here at Bruntingthorpe. What do you think is going to happen next? I've driven a Honda Civic Type R before. You either love it or you either hate it, but it's more about the way this thing drives, and where better off to take this than Bruntingthorpe. You can drive it neat and tidy. I think what I should do really is give it the full beans. Who says front wheel drive can't be fun? Front wheel drive cars, they cock up a wheel, they tend to tripod a little bit. This feels very composed when you're just dicking about. I mean, this is the S-bend here at Bruntingthorpe. Got that bit. That was full transitioning from there. The motor, well, it feels VTEC in a way, it pulls to the top end. However, it doesn't make that much of a great noise in my opinion, but I forgive it because the way it pulls to the top end is unlike any other 2-litre turbocharged engine you'll find. And the gear shift as well too. The way the pedals set up for heel and toe is fantastic. It feels nice, and this car's priced with all the goodies on it at 34, 35 grand. Compared to say like a VW Golf R, you do get a lot of car for your money, and this is one of the very few front wheel drive hot hatches that you can take to a track day, stock, and have a real good time. Alright, I'm going to do one more just for the transitioning bits. Yeah, it's a good laugh. It is a good laugh. That's the track stuff done out the way with this Type R. Do you know what? It is a good laugh. It's got the perfect blend between sort of really dialed up and focused. If you want to go for out and out lap times, that's what this car's set up for. Mind you, it was set up on the Nürburgring as most performance vehicles. Give it a bit more encouragement, trailing on the brakes, give it a bit of a flick, and this Type R wants to oversteer, as you've already seen. But now it's the second day, and I want to see whether this Civic Type R is still a normal car, still a normal hatchback. I brought it to East London, do a quick little walk around just to show you some of the pros and cons that I found with this car. Let's hop inside and I'll show you some of the pros and cons. Now, the first pro is the seating position. I'm sitting nice and low in the car, lower than any other hot hatchback around in its class. Another thing is the design of the cabin isn't what you call stereotypically Japanese, mainly because it's not built in Japan, I suppose, one way. However, the build quality is fairly okay. In fact, it's really good. Everything's going to last forever. However, some of the touch points, something like, for example, the buttons on the steering wheel, when you hit, say, the volume knob, or any of these buttons in fact, they sound a bit cheap and, yeah, just tacky. But unlike any other cars where all the buttons feel tacky, this has a combination of really tacky. Then if you went to go and change the button for your driving modes, that feels really nice. And so does that button, and so does this button, and so does the starter button as well. It's good. The cabin overall is really cool. However, this infotainment system is a bit frustrating. For example, you think that's the volume knob, right? So as you're driving along, you sort of wanted to grab the volume knob, and no, you've just basically turned the passenger's heating all the way up. Summer's day, they would be a little bit cross. And the volume knob is based here. The whole system itself is a little bit not okay, to be honest, especially even for the climate control. I mean, you hit that button sometimes, that's okay. It's fine once you're stationary and you want to select a certain mode, but once you're driving along, it does become a little bit frustrating. Look at these seats. These seats are just gorgeous. The materials are really cool. It's just typical Honda, isn't it? Same with this gear knob as well too. I just changed gear for the fun of it. This has got to be one of the nicest shifting manual transmissions on sale. Speaking of on sale, can you believe it? This Type R has been around for nearly 3 years, and soon there's going to be an updated version which will probably take over this whole hot hatch Nürburgring time. I know the new Renault Megane's holding it in a minute, which is like a 70,000 pound car. Can you believe that? That is twice the money of this car. In fact, I've got the spec sheet here for this car. This very one costs £34,075. The optional extra is the pearlescent paint. It's finished in championship white, which I think is the colour to have on this Type R. Just makes the lines a little bit less aggressive and, yeah, less in your face. Do some more driving around London and see if it can just do the job of being just a Civic. So can it do the job of being a normal Civic? Well, the answer is yes. It's still a normal hatchback. It's got a big boot, it's got seating for 3 adults. It's pretty okay on fuel. The only downside is the fuel tank's a little bit small. The ride is a little bit choppy, even with the different driving modes. And if you want attention, this is by far the biggest attention grabbing hot hatch around. Everyone looks at it, not because of how good looking it is, it could be more of a confusion. It's like, what the hell is that? But it's grown on me. It's absolutely grown on me, and I want to exclude the styling. Really, the reason why I've filmed this video is so that I can do some big skids with the Honda Civic Type R, and as you've already seen, it's pretty good at that. So yeah, to summarise, Honda Civic Type R is a good car, and I'm sure the facelift version of this will be better. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe as always. See you later.